Business on the Chinese mainland. Winnie Lam, assurance partner with PricewaterhouseCoopers, looks at prospects for small and medium-sized companies, looking into the future. So looking into the future, would you say that China is more or less welcoming to small and medium-sized companies?
There's no definite answer to it. It depends on a few things. One, you need to look at the nature of the business that the company is running. Two, where the locations that they are running their business are. Because even in China, different cities, they do have different types of styles. Three, of course, is what sort of niche and what sort of local relationship that they have with the local government.
So how do you progress, say, in the business of toys? Do you go upmarket, for example? Do you go to high-tech?
Well, I think first of all, they need to identify which market they want to target. Because in China, you can imagine it's a huge market. They scatter a lot. The demand from the customers are quite different as well. Some of the customers, they require a very high-tech type of toys. But some of the kids, they really just enjoy a very simple piece of toys. So, and for a company going into China, you can't just want to cover all the markets. So you have to identify one particular target, that particular target market that you want to move into. And then, of course, taking into consideration of what sort of expertise that the company have, and then move to that target.
And talking services, let's say, for example, you're going into logistics. Now, is that a real problem for you if you're in China?
Logistic company or services company, probably for the foreign companies going into China, they need to be a little bit careful, because usually those types of companies are more focused or more concentrated under the control of some, with a stronger local government relationship type of companies. So in order to do so, for foreign companies to go into and do that kind of business, they better have a better relationship, a good relationship with the local government, or some local companies which have local government relationship, and then try to pairing with them.
Now, some people say that foreign companies won't be as viable in China when local companies begin to move up the value chain. Is that the case?
I actually think the contrary. It can be a win-win situation. The reason I'm saying that is because for Chinese company, they're getting better and better. They're exposed more to the global practice of doing their business. So, right, the SME or foreign companies, they should realize that they do need to face a lot of competitions or increasing competitions from the local Chinese company. But on the other hand, even for the labor pooling, they're catching up, but there's still lack of some expertise or experiences that the foreign companies have or the SME have.
Let's look at auditing, because you have to be audited wherever you happen to be in the world as a company. So what's it like in China particularly?
In my view is that audit, whether that particular company is difficult or is easier, it not really depends on which location it's located, whether it's in China or it's in the other part of the world. It depends on a couple of things. One, the nature of the business that the particular company are doing. That's why we need to understand how they run their business. And two is the corporate culture, the management style of that company. And three, of course, is the people, the personality of the people that we are really dealing with. And that vary a lot in terms of how we perform our audit. And audit is actually not like a check the box.
So auditing is also about culture, it's about management, it's about various exercises. How is that actually developing in China?
The global economy does have a huge impact in China. You can see more and more Chinese people, they are getting more mature. They're more in line with the way how the Western companies are doing. They're more aware of the corporate governance, the importance of compliance with the regulations. And you can also see quite a lot of Chinese expatriates coming back to China, taking up those senior management roles in either the local companies or the MNCs. So their experience and their exposure towards the Western world would play a very important role in changing or influencing the style, the corporate culture of the companies.
And where does Hong Kong sit in all the developments taking place?
Hong Kong is still have a longer history as compared to China in terms of exposing to the Western. So Hong Kong people or Hong Kong companies can share their experience in how to handle, the services, how to build up, how to train a good project manager. All these kind of experiences can be utilized by the Chinese companies.
Are companies going to have to be cleaner and meaner in China in the future? In other words, going to have to embrace green, for example?
The Chinese government do encourage the companies to be more rule-based, and they do implement a lot of regulations and rules as well. That's one hand. On the other hand, the Chinese government, in order to sustain the growth through increasing the domestic demand, they also implement a lot of policies or incentives. So given the tight regulations, there's still a lot of incentives giving to the entities, to the enterprise to utilize it. So the foreign companies or the SMEs, they should try to spot those opportunities such that they can utilize it.